Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. And we are now in week 5, the continuation of our e-learning program. And the next topic is control account. The control account can be defined as a summary or memorandum account. It shows the aggregate balance of the subsidiary books. That is the aggregate balance of the subsidiary books. And here we have the two types of control account. And the control account are classified into two. The first one is the debtors or sales ledger control account. That is, this debtor or sales ledger control account would deal with the customer's document, like credit sales. We have a discount allowed. We have the return inward bad debt and credit note issue, credit note, debit note issue and credit note issue. And the second type of control account, we have the purchase or creditors ledger control account, dealing with the supplier's particulars item. And the two types of account, we have the format, but before we move down to the format, let's talk about the advantages of control account. The first advantage is it allows errors in individual ledger detected. That is used to detect the error. It's used to detect the error. And the second one is used to check on account clerk error. On account clerk error. And the third one, we have the it's also used to protect the fraud. That is used to protect the fraud. And account clerk fraud. And the total debtor or creditors can be seen at a glance. That is, if you have the figure, so far we said, the summary or the aggregate balance of subsidiary book. It also allows business to have a single account instead of having a customer A, customer B, customer C, and so on. We have just one account for all customers, and the same thing applicable to the supplier. And the format of the control account, so far we said we have the two types of accounts of control account. We have a sales ledger or debtors ledger control account. It's either you're asked to prepare the sales ledger or debtors ledger control account, mean the same thing. And the same thing, you have a purchases ledger or creditors ledger control account, also mean the same thing. But for this sales ledger or debtors ledger control account, we have it's possible to be given the two balance, that is on the equation. You have the first one, that is to act as an opening balance. If you have as an opening balance, you have the debit balance and credit balance. If the question indicated that you have the opening balance as a debit, the figure must be on the debit side. If you have the opening balance as a credit, the figure must be on the credit side. Therefore, look at this for a T account. The T account means you have the what? This is the customer account, and this is the payment side of the account, and this is the receiving side of the customer's account. And let's talk about this debit side. Credit sales, that is the goods sold on credit to customer. The total package of the goods sold must be on this debit side. Interest charge, that is interest charge must be on this one. You have the cash refunded. Cash refunded to customer must be here. And here you have the cash refunded must be here, and here you have a cash received from customer, and you have a discount allowed. And if you have a discount allowed, you have a two issue on the discount allowed. Here, if you have a discount allowed but subsequently disallowed, the real discount allowed must be on the credit side, while subsequently disallowed must be on the debit side. Return inward. must be on the credit side, bad debt written off must be here, and you have a credit note issue must be on this side, while the debit note issue must be on this debit side. We have a one. If you are given the sales ledger balance set against the purchase ledger balance means the contra entry. The same figure, because you have a sales ledger and purchase ledger balance set up against the purchase ledger balance. That's what you call the contra entry, must be on this credit side. At the end of the day, you have the two ways of balancing this account. If you are given the close balance to add, that is the close balance to act as a debit, and that is where it acts as a balance brought down in the old book, and you now transfer it to this side as a balance carried down. But if it is self-balancing, that is, you are not giving the close balance and you total this side and you total this side separately, and if the debit side is greater than the credit side, your balance carried down will come to this side. But you are giving the close balance from the figure, from the question, means you are giving the close balance, credit balance must transfer to this side. By the time you total the debit side against the credit side, the debit side must be greater than this side, and therefore the balance carried down will come to this side, and you have the balance carried down, and you have the figure here. Back to this purchase ledger control account, and you have the opening balance and you have the two opening balance again. If the first opening balance, you have the debit balance and you have the credit balance. The credit balance must be on the credit side, while the debit balance must be on the debit side. And I said this, the credit purchases, that is, the credit purchases, the total credit purchase must be here. Only credit purchase must appear. The cash purchases will not appear here. At the same time, the cash purchases will not appear on the sales ledger control account. Interest payable will be on this credit side. Back to this debit side, cash paid to the supplier. Cash paid to the supplier, that is, the money paid to the supplier, must be on the debit side of this account. You have a discount receipt and you have a bill payable, and at the same time you have a return outward. You have a return outward. Returns outward must be here, and you have the figure. And here, remember, we have a sales ledger balance set up against the purchase ledger, and the contra entry must also appear on this debit side of the account. The same balancing method, if you are giving the closing balance figure for the purchase ledger control account as a debit side, and you need to transfer it to the credit side, that as the balance carried down, and you total the credit side separately and total the debit side separately. If the credit side is greater than the debit side, and therefore your saving balance, that is your own balance carried down, will be here, and you have the balance carried down, and here you have balance carried down, and you have the balance carried down here, and after you now total this and you total the both sides. Remember, your balance carried down must come to the other side as the balance goes down. Your balance carried down here, you come to this side as the balance carried down. And before we round up the lesson, try as much as possible to memorize the advantages of control account, which is very, very important, because anytime, remember, we have two sections of the account. You have section A and section B. Don't limit yourself on this calculation only, and we have the small part of the theoretical aspect, whereby you can be asked to state at least 3 or 4 the 4 advantages of control account. I'm trying to know the difference between the sales ledger debtors control account and purchase ledger control account. What are the items that related to the sales ledger control and the items that related to the purchase ledger control account? And the sort method of preparing this account during the exam, that's the sort way method. And if you are given the question on the the control account, it's advisable to rule the account at the same time. When you roll the sales ledger control account and you roll the purchase ledger control account separately, and you take the item, you will know the difference between this balance and this balance and this balance. But here you have a cash receipt from the customer, and this is the cash paid to the creditor. And you have a discount allowed here, and you have a discount to receive here, nearly what and opposite. And you have a return inward that have effect on the credit sheet. You have a return outward have effect on the credit purchases. And you have a bad debt, and you have a credit note. Contra entry. If you have a contra entry on the debt on the credit side, your contra entry will be on the debit side. And if you are giving, here you have the bill, the sales ledger control account. You have a bill, receivable. You have a bill receivable while you have a bill payable here, and balance your account. But during the exam, maybe if you have a limited time, that's why it's advisable to prepare the two accounts together to enter. By the time you enter, before you close the balance, and you can still have enough mark. And you have the assignment that is attached to this one. Just try to go through the assignment, and if you have any difficulties, send your own comment or complaint through the email address. Subhana Rabbika.